Hello and welcome to Lesson 1 of Unit 5. This unit is all about networks. In this lesson we will define a computer network, learn the advantages and disadvantages of networking computers, identify 4 network topologies and understand the advantages and limitations of those 4 topologies. But first, a starter. You'll now have 30 seconds to memorise 8 keywords. Once they disappear, I'd like you to write down in a book or on a piece of paper or wherever as many as you can remember. So, let's go. Okay, so can you write down all the keywords you can remember? Okay, those were the answers. How many did you get? Well, let's get on with the lesson. First of all, let's define a network. A network is a group of computers connected together so that they can communicate. If you connect any computers together, allow them to communicate, that's a network. It's nothing more complicated than that. Nearly all businesses network their computers. They do this because there are a number of advantages. Firstly, network computers can share files, so the same files are available whichever computer you use. They can share resources, such as printers and an internet connection. And they can provide a single username and password that can be used on every computer on the network. In fact, like within a school, it doesn't matter which computer you log on to, you'll get the same experience. That's only possible because of a network. However, there are also disadvantages to networking your computers together. First of all, it's expensive. Extra hardware is needed. There's more room for error. If something goes wrong, it can affect every computer. This could be a mistake, it could be some sort of failure, or it could be malware, like a virus, that then spreads around the network and damages multiple computers. And it's also quite difficult. It requires expertise. Businesses generally have to hire network managers to manage the network. So, first thing, can you make some notes? In your books, or in your paper, or on your screen, however you're taking notes, could you copy down the following? A network is a group of computers connected together so that they can communicate. The advantages of a network is they can share files, share resources, and the same login and experience on every computer. The disadvantages is that it's expensive to set up. Errors and malware can affect all computers, and it requires expertise for maintenance. So what types of network are there? Well, there's a LAN. A LAN is a local area network. This is a network confined to one location or organisation. And there's a WAN, a wide area network, which is a network spanning a much wider area. There are wired networks. These are networks where physical wires connect the computers together, and there are wireless networks. These are networks that use radio waves to transmit, and no physical connection is needed between the computers. So can we add to your notes the definition of LAN, WAN, wired network and wireless network? There are different ways in which we can connect computers together. These are called topologies. Each topology has advantages and disadvantages in terms of cost, collisions and catastrophic failure. So what do we mean by collisions and catastrophic failure? Well, a collision is if 2 computers attempt to transmit at the same time on the same channel, be it wireless frequency or cable. The signals interfere and get corrupted, resulting in a failed transmission. A catastrophic failure is any fault which causes the entire network to break. So a cut wire that means none of the computers can now communicate is a catastrophic failure. So let's have a look at these topologies. Firstly, there's a bus topology. A bus topology is a single cable connecting all the computers. All the clients and all the servers connect to this one cable. So any computer that's transmitting is transmitting along that exact same cable. The advantages of a bus topology are that it's cheap, it's very easy to install, and no extra equipment is required. But there are many disadvantages. Primarily, it has a high chance of collisions. Since every computer is attached to the same cable, it's not possible for more than one computer to communicate at the same time. If they do, there will be a collision, the transmission will fail and have to be resent. More computers mean more collisions. The more computers connected to that one cable, the higher probability that two will attempt to transmit at the same time. And damage to the wire results in catastrophic failure. There's only one wire, which means there's one failure point. So generally, a bus topology is only suitable for small networks. The next topology, which addresses some of the issues with a bus network, is called a ring network. In a ring network, each computer is connected to two other computers to form a ring. Each computer transmits along one wire and receives from the other. The data travels round the ring in one direction until it reaches its intended recipient. Every time a computer receives some data, it checks who it's intended for. If it's for itself, it reads it, otherwise it just passes it on. The advantages of a ring topology over a bus topology is that there are no collisions. Each cable is only transmitted on by one computer, so it's not possible for two transmissions to collide with each other. Adding new computers will not slow it down because it doesn't increase the chance of collisions. The disadvantages of a ring topology is that it still has a problem with catastrophic failure. One faulty cable, or in the case of a ring topology, one faulty computer, will result in a catastrophic failure, and it is more difficult to add new computers. The third topology, and one of the most common topologies in business networks, is called a star network. In a star network, all computers are connected to a central hub or switch. A hub and a switch do a very similar job. A hub, however, sends messages to every computer and they decide whether or not to respond to it, but a switch checks the message to only send it to the correct computer. In a star topology, there are no collisions and there is a very low chance of catastrophic failure, as any one broken computer or cable only removes itself from the network. However, if the hub dies, that's still a catastrophic failure. It's also very easy to add new computers as they just get plugged straight into the hub or switch. There are still some disadvantages. It's more expensive than the other topologies. It requires the hub and central switch and a lot of cabling. The failure of the hub or switch is catastrophic and can be difficult or expensive to fix. The fourth and final topology we're going to look at is a mesh topology. A mesh topology is used for things like the internet. In a mesh topology, there's no real system. Each computer is connected to one or more other computers. A mesh topology can be a full mesh, where every computer connects to every other one, or it can simply be a partial mesh, where each computer connects to some others. The advantages of a mesh topology is there is zero catastrophic failure. There are always alternative paths. If one computer goes down, another route can be taken to the destination. Multiple transmissions can happen simultaneously across different routes. There are still disadvantages. There's redundancy. There are a lot of unnecessary connections, as multiple routes are often not needed. It's expensive and it's very difficult to maintain and administer. Okay, so our assessed activity for this lesson is to draw a poster of the four topologies, explaining how they work and giving their advantages and disadvantages. Ideally on A3 paper, but if you don't have any, A4 will do fine. I would, however, like it to be hand-drawn. I don't want it made on the computer. Once that's done, either scan it or take a photograph of it and upload it to the VLE. Thank you very much, and I'll see you for next week's lesson.